Hi, folks. It's Chief Meteorologist Nick Lilia here, taking a look at your tropical update for August 5th of 2019. Brought to you by the good folks over there at Pine Belt Gutters. As always, big thanks to them for helping us out, allowing us the opportunity to let you guys know what's happening out in the tropics. I will say water temperatures are warming up across parts of the Gulf of Mexico and into the Caribbean, even out into the open Atlantic. Temperatures are all into the mid to upper 80s. In the Gulf of Mexico, in terms of thunderstorm activity, not water temperature, but what's happening aloft, there's really not much to speak of. Yeah, we do have some thunderstorms out here, but it's all pretty disorganized stuff. As we kind of zoom things out, in the Caribbean, there's this little wave. Now, this is what's left of Invest 96L, and it's doing kind of exactly what the models were saying a couple of days ago in terms of forecast track. It's just not doing what it was suggesting in terms of forecast strength. So you can see it kind of fell apart here in the last couple of frames, but we had actually some pretty decent convection through the day today. You can see, let's run this back one more time. You see all the deep reds and a little bit of whites in there, and it all falls apart as we head through the overnight hours. That's a good indication that we're not seeing any kind of organization there, because generally what we look for is that nocturnal convection, that overnight convection. Overnight thunderstorms to develop. That's when we start to worry about stuff getting a little better organized. Now, we don't have that here, so we don't really have much to worry about. Out into the open Atlantic, we are pasted out here with some Saharan dust, so there's nothing that's going to be happening out into the open Atlantic. In terms of other waves that are coming off the coast of Africa, we've got a couple more back here, but everything that's come off recently just gets eaten up either by the Kelvin wave that was out there or the Saharan dust that's floating around, drying things out in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. And you can see it on our 700 millibar moisture 850 vorticity map. Here's your 700 millibar moisture, and like I always say, anywhere that we've got the kind of grayed out area, or even when it gets into like that brownish color, that is super dry air, and generally it has to do with some of the Saharan dust that's coming off of the coast of Africa. Now, outside of that, we've got some more dry air associated with some troughiness out across parts of the straits between Cuba and the Bahamas and Florida. That dry air will kind of stick around through the central parts of the Gulf of Mexico. Here we are on Thursday of this week. Hang out with us through parts of the middle of the week in the Gulf of Mexico. Here's that big chunk of dry Saharan dusted air, which all the way through the weekend and into next week just kind of propagates across the open Atlantic. It finally starts to thin out a little bit as we head through Tuesday of next week. But then we get another shot of it back here that gets kicked out. So as this stuff kind of thins out and it gets kind of caught up in a little bit of trough action here on the south side of a ridge of high pressure, we get another shot out here of some dry air as well. Notice I didn't say a word about what's left of Invest 96L down here in the Caribbean, because it gets eaten up by this dry air as well, at least according to the models. That's the way things are looking right now. So there's a look at your tropical update for August 5th of 2019. Like I always say, brought to you by the good folks at Pine Belt Gutters. And I will say things are reasonably calm right now, which is some good news as we head into August.